In August of 2023, I did my first ever video with a script and a ton of editing. It was a video all about 5 fun facts on the Atari 7800, along with its strengths and weaknesses. My plan was to do several of those videos on various topics, but as the channel progressed, I came up with more intriguing ideas. But I always intended to return to the 5 fun facts style of videos and make it a recurring segment on the channel. It's now May of 2024, and we've been covering Atari Homebrew all month on the channel. So what better opportunity to bring back an old idea than this? Homebrew has been around forever on Atari consoles. So long, in fact, that there is actually a good depth of history and information to pull from for a fun trivia video series. So here's the return of a personal favorite of mine. This is 5 fun facts about Homebrew on Atari consoles. Fact number 1. Hat Trick and Hobbyist cartridges. Before Homebrew was truly Homebrew, a man by the name of Harry Dodgson had an idea to release something called the 7800/2600 monitor cart. He even took the idea to Atari Corp themselves to see if they were interested in backing the project. But more than likely, Atari was ready to move on from both of those consoles by that time. It's questionable that they would have even been interested if that wasn't the case. Undeterred, Harry Dodgson visited a local Big Lots and purchased a bunch of Hat Trick cartridges for $1 a piece, and began producing his idea all on his own. So what is the 7800/2600 monitor cart, and why the Hat Trick cartridge over all others? Well, the monitor cart was meant to help people get their feet wet in 6502 programming, and came with a pretty extensive spiral-bound manual to help new programmers learn all about it. The cartridge included debugging monitors, utilities, and even some demos. Hat Trick cartridges were used because they were the only cartridge where the ROM could be removed and replaced with an EEPROM and RAM chip. Harry would produce about 25 of these monitor carts and advertise them for sale on Usenet and a Video 61 catalog. Video 61 would later list more on their website, and you can still find that listing today, but it's been out of stock for a very long time. Fact number 2. The first releases, known as Homebrew. So what about the word Homebrew? Why was it coined, and when did it start being used for these independent programs? According to my research, the term Homebrew was inspired by the California Homebrew Computer Club from the mid-1970s. It was a club that would meet and trade parts, circuits, and DIY information about the construction of early personal computing devices. Many influential people are said to have come from this group, including Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, and it was also credited with helping the rise of Silicon Valley and microcomputers. In 1995, Ed Federman released a cartridge called Sound X, which was meant to help people mess around with the sound capabilities on the 2600. He dubbed it as a homebrew program, most likely using inspiration from the previously mentioned Homebrew Computer Club. Ed would also create an unlicensed version of Tetris and sold it along with his Sound X program on Usenet forums. So this is most likely where the term Homebrew started, from the California Club for Computing and with Ed Federmeyer's programs in 1995. Fact number 3. The 7800 was slow to start. While Atari 2600 Homebrew software seemed to take off right away, the Atari 7800 was much slower to gain traction. This was because of its encryption algorithm that was meant to help the console decide whether to boot in 2600 or 7800 mode. Unfortunately, this encryption had to be cracked before 7800 games could be produced, and it wasn't until the early 2000s that this was achieved. At that point, we started to see a lot of previously unreleased software hit the market, such as Clax, Sirius, and Plutos from places like RescueSoft. These aren't Homebrew, however, as unreleased games fall into their own category. But according to Vinny Vineyard and his Atari 7800 treasure trove of information, Atari7800forever.com, the first Homebrew game for the 7800 was Harry Dodgson's Combat 1990. It wasn't long after this release that we began getting tons of experimental hacks and full-blown Homebrew titles on the console, leading to a second life on the console that lives on to this very day. When he Fact number 4. A toy company unleashes a Jaguar. Hasbro acquired Atari from JTS in 1998 and had big plans for the company and its properties. Hasbro's major plans did not include the Atari Jaguar, which was a console failure from Atari Corp, the Tramiel-owned iteration of the company that was already 2 purchases removed. A few companies and independent programmers begged for the Atari Jaguar to become an open platform, and Hasbro used this as an opportunity to gain some positive press from the fan base. So in 1999, Hasbro released all rights to the Atari Jaguar platform, making it an open one that anybody can release games on. Hasbro released a statement saying, "We realize there is a passionate audience of die-hard Atari fans who want to keep the Jaguar system alive, and we don't want to prevent them from doing that. We will not interfere with the efforts of the software developers to create software for the Jaguar system." End quote. After this announcement, companies like Telegames and Songbird Productions immediately began releasing titles such as Protector, Soccer Kid, and the incredible Skyhammer. To this day, these companies and several others take advantage on Hasbro's kindness to the community by releasing new titles on the Atari Jaguar console. So all I have to say is thank you, Hasbro.
When he plays a game from Atari, have you played Atari today?
And fact number 5. Homebrew comes full circle. Homebrew has been synonymous with Atari consoles for nearly 30 years now. For programmers, these consoles are a fun hobby and a challenge of development and design. They test themselves by trying to create inventive and fun games within the limitations of years past. For fans of Atari and these consoles, we get to enjoy and look forward to new games for all of our favorite systems. This helps to create communities around this stuff and keeps these systems alive long after they leave retailers' shelves. Atari purchased the biggest hub, publisher, and distributor of Atari Homebrew in Atari Age back in September of 2023. And with that, we already have witnessed Homebrew games becoming available on the Atari VCS store. They also potentially have the ability to offer some of these titles on cartridges, alongside their other properties on their website and Amazon. Now, these games would still be categorized as Homebrew because of their development, but this will go a long way in legitimizing them. Many people see Homebrew as being simple graphic hacks and not really worth investing in, but now they can see the talent and skill that has gone into many of these games. So with the purchase of Atari Age, Homebrew can now become official Atari games, and these developers finally get recognition for their hard work and love. It's an incredible 30-plus year journey of consoles leaving the mainstream, loving fans developing incredible software for those consoles, and now that software helping to bring these retro consoles back to the mainstream again. What an incredible circle. And there you have it, 5 fun facts about Homebrew on Atari consoles. We talked about the first hobbyist cartridges, the start of Homebrew as a whole, and on the 7800, how the Atari Jaguar became an open platform, and how Homebrew finally comes full circle with Atari buying Atari Age. And there's even more out there on the history of Homebrew on Atari consoles. So I encourage you to continue looking into the subject and into the incredible games that have been created over the years. We've been covering this stuff the whole month, so feel free to look back at some of our most recent videos and reviews to learn more about Homebrew. But with that, I think we've covered enough for this edition of 5 Fun Facts. Now I want to hear from all of you. Did you know all the facts in this video? If so, do you have any other facts I should have included? And if not, which ones didn't you know? Let me know this and more in the comments down below. And please, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. I do 2 videos a week, so hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I upload something new. I'd also like to take this time to thank the following classy Atarians for supporting the Atari Network. So thank you to My Own Celestial, Head Trauma Bob, OG Hugo, Jolt 7800, Ball Gobbler, Socrates 63, Ben's the Spook, Mr. Shua TV, and Jeremiah Thomas. You all rock. If you want to support the Atari Network, then please head over to patreon.com/7800ProGamer. You get exclusive videos and a shout out every video. Okay guys, thanks for watching 5 Fun Facts on Atari Homebrew right here on the Atari Network. I hope you're all enjoying Homebrew Month, and I hope to see you all in the next video. So with all that, I've been the 7800 Pro Gamer, a sprite hack of Kool-Aid Man here at the Atari Network, and I want to remind you to stay classy, Atarians.
Have you played Atari today?
Give a man an Atari game and he'll turn into a little boy. But don't worry, he'll be grown up enough to share it.
Have you played Atari today?